While they were checking out an art gallery as one of their potential locations for the event, amidst the hushed gallery and vibrant canvases adorning the walls, Sicil and Sebastian found themselves immersed in a world of color and creativity. As they wandered from one masterpiece to another, Sicil could not help but notice the way Sebastian's eyes lit up with each art, the facets of Sebastian she had never known. "Wow! Look at the way the artist captured the interplay of light and shadow in this piece," Sebastian remarked, his voice filled with genuine admiration as he gestured towards a particularly striking picture. Sicil nodded in agreement, her own gaze drawn to the intricate details and bold strokes of color. "It's incredible how art can evoke such powerful emotions," she mused, her tone filled with awe. Sebastian's voice softened as he reached the next painting, The Last Embrace, his eyes reflecting a tender glow, a mixture of admiration and nostalgia. "This is not just an image," he said, almost as if he was reliving the story as he spoke. "It's a memory frozen in time, of two young souls holding on to each other with everything they have, knowing it could be their last moment together. The artist told me their names, Ali and Layla. He called it their last embrace." Sebastian paused, his gaze distant as though he could see Ali and Layla standing before him. "I met Ali a few years ago and he shared the story behind the picture. In a war-torn village, Ali and Layla found a rare kind of peace in each other's company. They were just children, but they created a world together, one where war didn't exist, at least for both of them." He drew in a breath, letting the emotion of the story settle over him. They would sit among the rubble, laughing, trading dreams, as if they could somehow keep the world at bay with just their bond. Ali carried this tiny, worn teddy bear that Layla had given him, a token of her care. It was small, almost insignificant, but to him, it was everything she meant to him, a symbol of the home they might never have again. Sebastian's voice faltered as he approached the most painful part of the story. The light in his eyes dimmed, replaced by a haunting sadness as he continued. And then came that night. The sky, once a canvas of stars, was swallowed by smoke and fire as a sudden ambush broke out between militants and the military. Chaos erupted. Amid the gunfire and screams, Layla's parents made a heart-wrenching decision. They had to flee. There was no time to gather belongings, no time for farewells, only time to run. Sebastian's voice cracked slightly as he shared. Layla and Ali stood there clutching each other desperately. They didn't speak because there were no words that could capture what they felt. Just the raw, aching understanding that this might be their last touch, their last moment together. They held each other as tight as they could. Just by sheer will, they could stop time, and their embrace could shield them from the brutality closing in. Sebastian's breath hitched as he continued. But fate wasn't kind. In a moment, Layla's father yanked her away, pulling her into the rushing crowd. Ali's small hand was wrenched from hers, his fingers desperately trying to hold on, but it was no use. She was torn away from him, her scream drowned out by the cacophony of war. He watched her disappear into the smoke, the only girl he had ever loved, taken from him in an instant. Sebastian's gaze dropped, his voice now barely a whisper. Ali stood there, alone in the wreckage of their broken village. The sounds of gunfire echoed around him, but he couldn't move. He just clutched the teddy bear she had given him, the one thing he had left of her. It was old and frayed, but to him it was everything. It was her laughter, her kindness, her love, all the things he would never hold again. He took a shuddering breath and noticed tears were brimming in Sicil's eyes. That was the last time they saw each other, captured in that single, final embrace. This picture is a painful reminder of two children holding on for dear life, while the world around them crumbled into chaos. The pain in their eyes, the desperate way they cling to each other. It's as if they knew that this was their goodbye. Sebastian wiped a tear from Sicil's cheek, his voice full of love and loneliness. Whenever I look at it, I can feel their agony, their love, and their loss. Ali captured more than just a picture of that day. He captured a kind of love that defied the surrounding devastation. Every time I look at it, It reminds me of the way we hold on to each other, how sometimes that's all we have. And it's a reminder of how precious every single moment is, because you never know when it might be your last." He paused, and then confessed with a heavy sigh, "We're so fortunate to still have each other, to still feel this," he whispered, his voice thick with gratitude and unspoken fear. "Not everyone is so blessed." Sicil's heart ached at his words, a deep well of emotion rising within her. "I hope Ali and Layla find their way back to each other," she breathed, her voice barely above a whisper. As Sebastian shared Ali's story and his thoughts, each word felt like a brushstroke on a canvas, painting the raw beauty and pain of a love that surpasses time and circumstance for Sicil. "I have never seen this side of you, Seb," she admitted. "It's like you have a whole other world hidden beneath the surface." Sebastian chuckled softly, a hint of self-deprecation in his voice. "I guess I have always had a thing for art," he confessed, his gaze still lingering on the poignant piece of the last embrace. "There's just something about Ali's story that speaks to me at a deeper level, I feared at night. What if it was us?" At that moment, amidst the vibrant hall of colors and emotions, they both realized that they had found what they had been looking for the last 3 days, the perfect venue for their charity event. "The art gallery," Sicil said, her voice filled with certainty as she looked at Sebastian. "This is it. This is where we should hold the event." Sebastian's eyes lit up with excitement, his expression mirroring Sicil's enthusiasm. "I could not agree more," he replied, a smile spreading across his face. "It is absolutely perfect." It was a moment of clarity and connection they had. As they stood together, surrounded by beauty and possibility, they knew that their charity event would be nothing short of extraordinary. Finally, when the sun began its descent on Friday evening, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple, Sebastian and Sicil found themselves in the comforting embrace of Sebastian's car. Sebastian, with a subtle smile, proposed a plan for the next day. "Hey, what do you say we take a short drive to the nearby village tomorrow?" Sebastian suggested, his eyes reflecting a desire for a tranquil escape. Sicil, however, wore an apologetic expression. "I would love to see Seb, but I have already made plans for tomorrow. I will be spending the day at Tia's. She means a lot to both Ethan and me, and I have already promised to join them for a family day." Sebastian nodded understandingly, acknowledging the importance of family commitments. "No worries, Sicil. Friends are important. We can plan the village trip some other time. Enjoy your day with Tia and Ethan." They continued their journey home, the headlights cutting through the gathering darkness. The hum of the engine accompanied the subtle shift in the conversation between Sebastian and Sicil. As they reached Sicil's home, it became a familiar ritual, the end of the day marked by the exchange of a tender kiss on the cheeks. However, this time Sebastian lingered, his hand gently stroking Sicil's cheek. In the dim light, he whispered softly, "I am going to miss you. It would be very odd not to have you by my side." The words hung in the air, creating a deep current that seemed to ripple through Sicil's entire body. Sicil parted her lips to speak, but before she could utter a word, Sebastian gently pressed his fingers against her lips, silencing her. "Good night," he murmured softly, his eyes holding a hint of warmth and longing. "And if it's not too much to ask, dream about me." She nodded in response, feeling a rush of emotions coursing through her veins. With a silent understanding between them, Sicil stepped out of the car, her thoughts swirling in confusion. As she closed the door behind her, Sebastian did not wait for her to wave goodbye. Instead, he drove off into the night, leaving Sicil to ponder the depth of their connection. When Sicil entered her room, her phone buzzed. She reached for it, expecting to see a message from Sebastian, but to her surprise, it was Ethan. Chastising herself for not connecting with him throughout the day, she quickly answered the call. "Hey, Ethan, what's up?" Ethan's voice came through warmly, bringing a smile to her face and dispelling any lingering disappointment. "Hey, Sicil, I wanted to check in on you. How was your day?" Sicil sighed softly, feeling a mixture of exhaustion and excitement. Busy, but good. Guess what? We found the perfect venue for our event, an art gallery on the hilltop. Ethan radiated happiness on the other end. Oh, wow, I am so glad. It does sound like an exceptionally desirable choice for the cause. I am so proud of you. Hope Sebastian is treating you well. He is, Sicil admitted, her voice marked with gratitude. But I am looking forward to tomorrow. I miss spending time with you and cannot wait to see Tia too. Ethan's tone softened with affection. Me too, Sicil. I cannot wait to see you. Shall we plan to start the day early with breakfast and then join Tia at lunch? Sicil nodded enthusiastically, even though Ethan could not see her. That sounds perfect. I will be ready by 8. Great, Ethan replied, his voice filled with warmth. I will see you then. Get some rest. Sicil smiled, feeling a rush of warmth at Ethan's concern. Will do. Thank you for calling. See you tomorrow, and good night for now. Good night, Sicil. Sweet dreams about me, okay? Ethan said before they exchanged goodbyes and ended the call. Lying on her bed, Sicil's mind wandered to the requests from both Ethan and Sebastian to dream about them. A subtle smile played on her lips as she contemplated the possibilities. In the quiet solitude of the night, a question lingered in her thoughts. Could there be a future where she had both Ethan and Sebastian in her life? Was it conceivable to lead a life where she did not have to choose between them? Closing her eyes, Sicil let herself drift into the realm of dreams, wondering if her dreams would offer glimpses of a harmonious existence where the bonds with Ethan and Sebastian could coexist. It was a delicate dance between the past and the present, between loyalty and newfound emotions, and Sicil could not help but yearn for clarity amid her tangled heartstrings.